Eternity has already become one of my all-time favorite animes, thanks to its beautiful story about what it means to be human and the importance of making human connections, while also displaying all the kindness and cruelness of the world. This anime is genuinely sad, plain and simple, with our protagonist often being alone, which is how we are first introduced to him, where he's just chilling in the snow, as a rock. It's not until a dying wolf comes across him that he is able to actually have a living body. He eventually meets a young boy from an abandoned village who looks after the wolf. The boy feeds him, gives him shelter and warmth, and even though the protagonist doesn't appear to understand anything, it shows him what a basic human display of kindness is. Eventually, after discovering that everyone else in his village died, the boy is left both injured and distraught. But he still chooses to look after the wolf even after all of this. Before succumbing to his wounds, he asks the protagonist to remember him. The protagonist takes on the boy's form in order to honor his wishes of being remembered, and to experience new things that the boy never got the chance to do, as he continues his journey of seeking out stimulation, which causes him to make close bonds with humans and learn more about their emotions. I should also mention really quickly that our protagonist is still rather new to the world and has a lack of understanding as to how to behave or how to speak, and has no idea how to feed himself, as regardless of appearance he is still rather infantile in age, similar to that of a baby, which is why it's genius in my opinion that the next character to be introduced is March, a character that would take on the role of being the protagonist's mother, which is something that March had always wanted to be. She chooses to look after the protagonist, giving him the name Fushi, a name that would stick with him forever. March is constantly behaving like Fushi's mother, whether it be her trying to teach Fushi how to speak, or providing food for Fushi so that he doesn't go hungry. She starts to teach Fushi the basics of being a human. Fushi realizes March's kindness and chooses to protect her no matter what, saving her from a bear attack before she could be sacrificed, in one of the most badass action sequences I've ever seen, where Fushi has to go up against a 20-foot bear, all for the sake of protecting March. Unfortunately, as a direct result of the fight, the soldiers of Yaname have taken a significant interest in Fushi, none more so than Hayase, who takes a creepy, stalker-esque interest in Fushi, as she becomes more and more obsessed with him over the course of the anime. I'm pretty sure her role in the anime is that of an obsessed ex, but that's besides the point. She is the antagonist, the natural evil to all the natural good in the world, as she murders and manipulates in order to get to Fushi. She even tortures Fushi, as she forces people to try and kill him. And it's here where Fushi begins to understand what pain is, as through simulation he was able to sense the pain of another human being. This is just one of the many character growth moments for Fushi, and another one will be coming up real soon. As while attempting to escape from Yaname and Hayase, March is shot with an arrow while trying to protect Perona, who is a character that March looked up to and idolized and saw as her older sister. When March got shot, I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe that this was happening. It is such a heart-wrenching scene as we watch Perona desperately try to save March's life, with the voice acting and music being done to perfection. I think for me, it hurt the most when Perona was playing family with March, as she desperately tries to hold her tears back while watching March die. That scene made me cry, and is filled with nothing but darkness. Darkness. And in the aftermath of March's death, Perona attempts to kill herself, but is saved by Fushi, as all he can do is stare at her and cry, showing the growth in his emotional maturity. And because of how close of a connection that Fushi had with March, she is added to his collection of vessels along with all the memories they made together, which is such an important part of a friendship. Which is where the knockers come in. The knockers are essentially living, breathing dementia. The knockers, who are attempting to steal the vessels away from Fushi, are also simultaneously stripping away all memories Fushi made with that vessel. The knockers are a constant threat, as wherever Fushi is where the knockers will attack. Fushi's journey leads him to meet Gugu, a young boy who is a human alcohol dispenser, and who is abandoned by his his own brother. And then there's his helmet, which is used to hide his disfigured face, which only happened because he tried to save a girl from being crushed. Gugu sees Fushi as the little brother he always wanted, as he does his best to look after Fushi, explaining to Fushi about what death is and the importance and preciousness of life, which helps to make Fushi more human, as the more he understands, the more human he becomes. The same girl Gugu saved, whose name is Reen, also constantly visits the place where Gugu works, which is owned by a man called Boozman. And also included here is Piron, an old lady who helped Fushi escape from Yaname, who is easily one of the most likable characters in this anime, and is constantly with Fushi over the course of the anime. And it's here at Boozman's shop where we get to see Fushi at his most happy, as he makes close-knitted relationships with everyone, becoming a sort of family, which is something that is incredibly bittersweet, as not only do we know that the knockers can attack whenever, but that it's the simple fact that Fushi is immortal and all of his friends aren't. And it's also here where Fushi has his first experience with romance, where he instantly cucks Gugu, causing him to run away, leading Gugu to almost getting kidnapped, but is saved by Fushi, leaving Gugu forever grateful to him, causing them to instantly repair their relationship. Reen's love interest also begins to change towards Gugu, as we get to see them share some incredibly wholesome moments together. Eventually, the knockers return, and Fushi is saved by Gugu. After the battle, Fushi decides to stay with Gugu, which is something that Fushi would come to regret, as by staying, the knockers could attack him and his friends at any time, which is exactly what ends up happening, as Gugu ends up dying in order to save Reen, and together, they share a beautiful moment, realizing their love for one another, but it was not to be. And it's also insanely crushing, as we get to see Fushi realize Gugu's death, as when he transforms into Gugu, his emotions start spewing out, which helps to emphasize his emotional and mental growth over the course of the anime, as he becomes more and more human, with Fushi becoming depressed. With the death of Gugu weighing so heavily on him, it is this feeling of regret that drives him to abandon his friends in fear of having to watch them die. It is also this same fear that makes him unable to make any more close connections, as he is scared that if he gets close to someone, he'll have to watch them die. It is these human feelings that show us just how far Fushi has come and how close he is to being human. On Fushi's journey, he is joined with Piron, as she feels he needs some guidance at this tough time in his life. Even though she is rejected by Fushi at first, he eventually relents, reopening himself to her ever so slightly. While on their journey, they are tricked into going to a prisoner island, hidden in the summer for a million years. Great summer land. But anyways, this arc is very important, as it does a great job at humanizing Fushi, as Fushi shares a moment with Tonari and her friends about what their dreams are, which helps to give Fushi a purpose while he is making friends. This part is also heartbreaking, as you realize that some people are unable to achieve their dreams. I also love this arc because of the raw emotion Fushi displays when he comes face to face with Hayase again, and how no matter what, she will never be one of his vessels, as all she has done is provide him with nothing but pain and suffering. So in return, Fushi banishes her to the Shadow Realm. There is probably something deeper to Hayase, but I still think she's just the creepy ex. After freeing Piron and escaping the island, Fushi comes face to face with something totally unexpected: dementia, as Piron's brain begins to deteriorate in her old age, leaving Fushi confused on what to do. But Fushi tries his best to look after Piron, but it proves to be in vain, as Piron dies. This could be seen as a cruel way to end the series, having Fushi alone, if it isn't for Piron wanting to reincarnate, just to ensure that Fushi isn't alone. And so all I am left with is, damn. To Your Eternity is an anime that questions what it means to be human, how our emotions guide us, how our experiences shape us as people, and just how important it is to be surrounded by positive people. This anime is a must watch if you like anime. If not, go watch Boruto.